Good day, everyone. Today's day is October 20th, 2024. And we continue on talking about the Platform Sutra on the chapter of the doubts. And the last talk was on October 13, 2024. At the end, we are talking about what our teacher said. And he said that this is not my wisdom, but the application of wisdom. Because of your excellence, my teaching is good. If you were not good, my teaching won't be good. The merit is everyone's. I have no merit. I invite you all to continue listen to the Platform Sutra. Okay, so we continue with the saying from the Platform Sutra that says, good knowing advisors, continuity of thought its merit, and the mind practicing equally and directness is virtue. So let's explain what it means. So the saying of self-cultivation of one's merits is of one's nature is merit, and self-cultivation of the body is virtue. There are two layers of meaning here. The first layer asks, what is merit? The second layer also discusses what merit is. So the first level of merit is continuous effort. And the second level of merit is having a heart that is straightforward, flat, and honest. And this is merit. Now, for the so-called continuous mindfulness, which is continuity of the thought, is that it is easy to initiate the aspiration, but difficult to maintain constancy. So probably you have heard about the saying that it is easy to develop the Bodhi mind, referring to the mind of awakening, but hard to maintain a constant mind. So starting out with good intention is easy. Well, for example, when someone suggests doing something good, we agree and are willing to join in. Or we might come up with an idea to do something good on our own. But often we begin enthusiastically and then lose momentum. This is like the famous warrior Chen Yaojin in the Tang Dynasty, who would charge with great courage. But after swinging his axe 3 times, he would be out of energy. So in the beginning, the ancient powerful warrior Chen Yaojin would leap into action with great force. But after 3 swings, he would lose steam and his skills would falter. This kind of brave but non-persevering attitude, where one starts with enthusiasm but cannot maintain it, will not lead to success in practice. Of course, having 3 swings is better than having only 1. Even making 1 attempt is better than never making any effort at all. For instance, someone who has never bowed to the Buddha before, but bows once, is still better off than someone who has never bowed at all. Similarly, someone who has never recited the Buddha's name, but does so once, is better off than never reciting it at all. So years later, then they can at least say, I once bowed to the Buddha. I once recited his name. This is better than having never done so. And the question here is that how should we practice diligently? It refers to continuous and sustained effort. The merit here refers to diligent practice. No matter what kind of effort is involved, whether it is studying or working in any profession, it is also considered diligent effort. So diligence must be like a continuous stream, maintaining steady and unbroken effort. That is what it means to practice diligently. If, for example, you read one of our teacher's book today, then read a Christian book tomorrow, and the day after that, you read a book from Yuan, a religious sect. Does this count as diligence? And if, when reading a book, you only read 1 page and then stop, have you really finished it? Have you understand it? No. Have you seen it? Yes. But for you, it becomes confusing. We often hear people say that believing in religion is a good thing, and that all religions are the same. They say all religions encourage people to be good and to start from a place of goodness, and that any religion is fine. But if you if you ask them if they believe in a religion, they might say, I haven't decided yet, but I'm not against it. I think all religions are good. If you ask them further whether they truly understand, they might reply, yes, I understand. Buddhism teaches people to recite the name of Amitabha Buddha. and do good deeds, while Christianity teaches people to believe in God and do good deeds. So they think Buddhism and Christianity are the same. This shows that they have neither understood nor diligently studied to truly grasp the Dharma. It is not as simple as saying that Buddhism and Christianity are identical. If they were the same, why would there be a distinction between Buddhism and Christianity? Both are good, but the level and method of goodness differ. And it is important to understand this clearly. That is what it means to practice diligently. Well, we have probably seen many clever and capable people who can learn something quickly, understand it easily. They grasp things faster and understand them more quickly than others. But because of this ease, they also tend to forget more quickly. They learn one thing today, another thing tomorrow, and master a little of everything. But in the end, they are only superficially skilled in all areas and lack depth. This kind of scattered learning is not diligent practice. Now, again, our teacher shared a story. He said, I once had a follower from Yuan who came to listen to my teachings and participate in our meditation classes. When they were learning, they were very serious and attentive. But after attending once, they never returned. They listened intently to one Dharma talk, but then never came back. Their goal was simply to see how Master Shengyan teaches and how he instructs people to meditate. Once they thought they understood, they believed they had learned and could teach others, claiming that they had learned from me. However, when they used this knowledge in Yuan Dao, was it truly the same as what I had taught? Was it really the meditation method I taught? No. They were still teaching the Yuan Dao method because they had not truly learned from me or follow through with constant diligence. They did not dare delve deeply into my teachings, as doing so would have required them to give up their beliefs. This is not what we mean by diligent practice. Therefore, as Buddhists, whether we are engaged in a profession or fulfilling our responsibilities to our families, we should remain consistent and dedicated. we should not waver or constantly change direction. And this is why we have the so-called daily practice, which means maintaining daily efforts, even if we are busy. Daily practice should never be interrupted. For example, a filial son or daughter who is dedicated to their aging parents should regularly check on them morning and night. If they visit at noon one day, midnight the next, and then not again for a week, this is not regular care. The parents may start to wonder, why didn't my child come today? And feel anxious. You should visit your parents at the same time every day, not because they are lonely, but because they may worry if something has happened to you when you don't visit. This form of filial piety is called regular morning and evening visits, which means doing the same thing at the same time every day. And this is called constancy. So people should show this kind of filial piety towards their parents, not just in practice, or else the efforts will not be complete. And it cannot be called diligent practice. There are levels of diligent practice. In terms of Buddhist practice, diligent effort means continuous mindfulness without interruption. Each moment is a moment of practice. And this can be divided into different levels. The first level of practice is being aware of what you are doing at every moment, which can already be considered practice. No matter what we do, whether it's good or bad, if we are clearly aware of it, that is a form of practice. Sometimes we might do something wrong or have bad thoughts. But even then, being aware of our bad thoughts, it's not simple. Then the second level of practice is when, during moments of chanting, every moment is filled with Buddha's name, with no distracting thoughts or delusions disturbing you. This is also considered diligentness. The third level of practice is having clear mindfulness at every moment, whether chanting or engaging in other activities. Your mind is free of distractions, free of afflictions, and external circumstances do not disturb you and do not disturb your inner peace. This is the highest form of diligent practice, where liberation has been attained. However, since we are all cultivating the path, we must advance step by step. The question is that, what if you can even achieve the first level? Well, you still have to try. As mentioned earlier, there are different stages of preparation. We should establish regular practice, and this is called a daily practice. At the same time each day, we should do the same activity, such as reciting the Heart Sutra, the Great Compassionate Mantra, reciting the name of Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva or Amitabha Buddha, or performing a certain numbers of prostration. Of course, that also include the practice of meditation. And this regular and consistent practice is called constant practice. A regular practice must be maintained consistently and diligently. When listening to Dharma talk, we should make a vow to listen attentively to each one and hope to understand something useful each time. This is what it means to have a long-term commitment in practice. You shouldn't have short-term goals. Well, if you really do this every day, then you will build a momentum of practice, and naturally you feel more at ease. Your mind is calmer and more stable, and you will feel the benefit of practice. Say, if you meditate every day, doesn't matter what, you don't practice a few days and stop, and then a few days later you begin again, that you will not be able to see the result, the good result. But still, as we mentioned, swinging the axe 3 times is better than once. But if you can swing 10 times after 3, isn't that even better? And this long-term mindset is diligent practice. With this kind of long-term commitment, gradually, you will reach a point where you can recognize when you are doing something wrong, saying something bad, or having negative thoughts. This is the first stage of diligent practice. So, the first step is to have a long-term commitment and establish regular practice. And the second step is to progress through the stages one by one. Okay. Now, let's talk about this. The mind practicing equality and directness is virtue. This refers to the state of the mind. Some people's minds are crooked and twisted, meaning they are not straightforward. Others say that someone has an Others say that someone has an equality and direct mind. A direct mind is basic requirement for practitioners. Equality refers to a mind that is peaceful and calm. Only when the mind is calm and peaceful can one be harmonious and content. If the mind is not calm, there will be no peace or harmony. Therefore, direct, straight, and calm are very important qualities. If the mind is not calm, it will not be at peace. A calm mind leads to peace, while an unsettled heart, unsettled mind prevents peace and stability. So there are three terms, key terms: peace, smoothness, and harmony. Well, everyone seeks peace. Some people visit folk temples and pray to deities like Maju, like Guan Yu, or the clear water master to ensure their safety. They might even make vows, promising to offer 200 to 500 pounds of pork in return for peace. But can peace really be obtained this way? If your mind is not calm, achieving peace is difficult. Seeking peace through these methods is like going to a police station or a bank manager and saying, "Make me rich and give me peace. No matter what I do, you must protect me. If everything goes well, I will give you a big red envelope during the New Year." Does this approach work? Bank managers and police chiefs would be put in a difficult position. They should give you interest when it's not deserved, and they should offer protection when it's not warranted. From a worldly perspective, seeking peace in this way is unreliable and superstitious. If there is any success, it might involve corruption, like the police working with criminals or bank manager with dishonest businessmen. Such connections ultimately lead to disaster. So true peace comes from having a calm mind. When the mind is calm, peace will follow. How can the mind be calm in a world filled with so many disturbances and injustices? It's impossible to wait for the world to become entirely peaceful before you can feel peace. Inner peace comes from within, not from wanting for the external world to be perfectly balanced. Now, there's an example from our teacher. So Master Sun Yan was leading a chant retreat in the States. During the retreat, our teacher was eating different food from the other participants. One gentleman at the retreat kept watching him during meals. After 3 days, Master Sun Yan invited him to a personal interview and asked, "How have you been over the past 3 days?" He said, "Not good." And our teacher asked, "Why?" He replied, "I feel very upset." And he said, and our teacher said, "What are you upset about?" And the man said, "Master, you're not practicing properly." So during each meditation session, he was thinking, is this master truly practicing? If he is truly practicing, why is he eating food different from us? He must have special privileges, eating better food while we eat ordinary food. How can I follow a master who doesn't even practice? So for 3 days, he had been thinking like this. But for retreat, usually we say, when you enter the meditation hall, don't look around, don't even watch the master. But he said, I came here to learn from the master. How can I not observe the master and follow his example? But you eat your food and I eat mine, and it is not the same. How can I learn from you? And then our teacher explained to him, I eat the same food as you, but it is presented differently. You drink cold milk, and I drink warm milk to keep it at the right temperature. You eat fruit, and I eat the same fruit, but mine is blended into juice and warmed because my stomach cannot handle cold food. So while it looks different, it's the same. If your stomach gets bad, then you probably will eat the same way. So our teacher was explaining to him. And then he said, forget it, I'm leaving. If the master has a stomach illness, then what's the point of me meditating? And so after 3 days, he left. He couldn't accept that a master could have a stomach problem. So for some people, they think that practitioners should be perfectly healthy, like they are made of iron and copper. But why should practitioners have no physical ailments? And our teacher have had stomachache issues for many years. Even if explain this to the practitioners, it won't change his perspective. He believes that a master must be strong and free of illness, like a patriarch made of steel So our teacher told him, just go home. Don't continue studying. Because his mind was constantly focused on someone else, especially a teacher. So when your mind is unsettled, you cannot find peace. To achieve calmness means recognizing that each person has their own position, level, and circumstances. Everyone is different. We shouldn't expect others to be just like us, nor should we expect everyone to be exactly the same. That would be unrealistic. Everyone is unique, and every phenomenon in the world is different. How could everything be the same? If we demand equality in external circumstances, our minds will never be at peace. Instead, we must focus on calming our own minds. When we view external matters with a calm mind, we can see them as equal. Why? Because everyone has their own reasons, circumstances, and position. This is natural. With this mindset, we won't feel unsettled, and our minds can find peace. Okay. So I'll stop here at this time.